browse around the house. In this video, I'm going to show you how to fit a curtain pole. Like this. Fitting a curtain pole is a relatively straightforward task, and it pretty much involves just either drilling some holes and adding plugs to the wall if you've got a masonry wall, or if you're screwing into wood, you can just use some wood screws directly through the curtain pole brackets into the wood. You use a spirit level to level it up, and that's pretty much the process, and I'll show you that in a minute. However, with my installation, it's slightly different. I've got this detailed architrave around the top of my window. Now with this particular house, the windows aren't standard sizes, so they're not standard widths or heights, so you either got to buy bespoke curtains, or you've got to make a few bespoke alterations in order to fit a standard curtain. Now, because I'm slightly tight and I don't want to buy bespoke curtains, I have to drop my bracket down onto this piece of wood in order to get the standard length curtain to sit just off the floor. So I'm going to take a little bit out of my architrave, do a neat cut to sit my bracket in so that it sits flat. Then my two brackets either side of the architrave can go into the wall, and the extendable bits on the bracket will bring the two outside brackets out flush with the one in the middle. So pretty much this is a basic installation with the addition of this little bespoke fitting in the middle. So I'll show you some useful tips in case you've got some similar problems in your own home. This particular pole comes in two sections, and you join the middle bit by pushing the two sections into this. This supports the middle, and then that drops into the middle bracket. I'll just show you how the brackets work. This one is the one that goes up against the wall. You drill your holes in the wall, you apply your two screws through this, and this is your support bracket. Once this is fixed to the wall, we take this one, place it over there, and then that is hooked in. Then this diagonal here gives extra support, and that slots into place there. This small grub screw then goes up into the hole by there and secures these three together. Then on this side, once you've adjusted the bracket to the height you want while these bits are off, do this screw up tightly. Then once all these three are in place, go back through your second hole with your second screw, and then do this one up tightly through there. And you can see by doing it this way, that allows you to make minor adjustments once your bracket is on the wall. Once you know the drop of your curtains, you can get the measuring tape and work out what height you need your curtain pole to be. Make sure if you've got eyelets, like the round holes in your curtains, that the top of that hole is going to be bang on level with the top of your bar. Once you've decided how high you want your curtain off the floor, you can then work out the height of the bar. If you take this bracket for example, I know, because I've put a little pencil mark on it, that the top of the pole comes to about there on this bracket. So when I firm the bracket up, if that's the height I need the top of the pole, I have to make fine adjustments and work out where the holes in my other bracket go. If I just measured from the top of this bracket and secured it to the wall, by the time this is in place, you might find that the pole is about 5mm too low and it might be dragging on the floor. So it's always important to remember where you're measuring from. It's not always the top of the bracket, it's from the top of your curtain pole, and measure that from the top of your eyelet. That's the way I do it. Whichever way you choose to measure it, you want to make sure that the bottom of your curtain is exactly where you want it. Measure from the bottom up. And like I said, just work out where the top of the pole is or the top of the bracket, whichever way you want to do it. But when you secure it to the wall, you don't want to find that by the time the bracket's on and the pole sits in it, it's either 10mm too high or 10mm too low. Because then you'll be re-drilling the holes and you'll make a mess of your wall. Preparation is the key. So the first thing to do is measure the width of this architrave and draw a centre line. And from that centre line, I know where to put the bracket and cut out the piece of wood. And just mark a little point with your pencil. I've just zoomed in on the bit I'm going to cut out, and I'm going to do this simply using a hammer and a sharp chisel. Just use the edge of your chisel around the lines that I've marked out. Just want to show you quickly what I've done up close. Now this bracket, I've done my measurements, and unfortunately I can't turn it up the right way, because that would mean it would drop below the ceiling height and it would look stupid because it would be in front of the window. So for this middle bracket, I flipped it round. I can make it work. You can just see where I've chiseled out this section so that when you look from the side, this bracket is now perfectly at 90 degrees. When I've finished doing this, I'll take this bracket back off and put some white gloss over the wood so that it doesn't stand out, and put this back on top. But for now, that'll do me. I can put the rest of the bracket on, and then I'll work out from my centre to the edges and make sure my pole is level before putting on the end brackets. For this next bit, I've just roughly assembled this bracket. It's missing the other bit at the moment. I'm just going to offer this up to the wall, Make sure your grub screw is undone on the bracket, and the same on that one, because we're about to sit the pole in the one on the ceiling, and then we'll sit in this one over there, get a pencil ready and a spirit level, and once we get the pole level, I'll put a little pencil mark inside here and I know where to drill a hole. So just offer your spirit level up on top of the bar. I've now got it resting in both brackets, and I'm just moving the right bracket up and down with my hand until I get this so that the bar is level. So on this side I'm just moving this bracket up and down until my spirit level shows me that this bracket is level with the other one, and then when I know it's level, I'm just going to put a little mark on the top of the bracket for now, and that gives me a reference point to mark my other holes to drill. Once I've marked where I want to drill, I'm now going to use a masonry drill bit into this bit because there's brick behind here. I use the plugs and the screws provided, and I'll attach the bracket to the wall. I'm just using my Makita Hoover underneath to catch all the dust. Then just push your plugs into the wall, and now we're ready to put the screws in. You can see I've got the one half up and level. Now just do exactly the same on the other side. Put the pole in the centre bracket, assemble your other bracket and place this on the wall. We rest the pole in there and we rest it in that bracket, and then we just move this bracket up and down until the spirit level indicates that this is level. Then I'll make 2 marks with my pencil and we know to drill those holes. Then you just need to slide your pole across and work out how much to take off in length. Leave the desirable amount hanging off the end. We'll cut each pole down to the same size, and then we can join them both with this. So with this, we measure the length we want to cut off, and I'm going to cut off 6 centimetres. I get a metal cutting saw and just go through it by hand. Do the same for the other pole. Then with the joining bracket, so you just wedge the bracket inside one pole and then inside the other, and the pole slides over it so that you don't see this bracket inside. That'll give it support when it sits on the middle bracket. And then let's place the pole up on the brackets. The curtain pole's in place. Just to show you the bracket in situ, you've got the support bracket, then you've got your sliding arm in the middle, and then the L-shaped bracket on the back. Your pole sits into the loop, and then there's a little hole at the back for your grub screw, and you tighten that up once the curtain pole is on, and that secures it in place. If you undo this screw here, this will slide forwards and backwards to allow your curtain to come either out further off the wall or back in towards the wall. You can make those adjustments once the curtains are on. To slide the curtain over the pole, you just undo this little grub screw with your Allen key, and you literally just take the end off this pole. Slide your curtain on, and once the curtain's on, just pop this bit back over the end of the pole and just tighten up that screw with the Allen key. It's really simple. Once you've got your curtains in place and your curtain pole is back up on the brackets, we need to then go round the side. This is a bit difficult to show, but if we go behind the curtain, you can see the small grub screw. We need to use the Allen key provided and just tighten this grub screw up to the pole, and that will secure the pole in place and make sure it can't move left to right and it can't be pulled out by accident if you're playing around with the curtains. Now we've tightened the grub screw up, you need to do that for every bracket on the pole. So on this one we'll do one in the middle and one on the end. And that's how to fit a curtain pole. Simple. For more DIY, how-to, household tips and product review, please watch my other videos and don't forget to subscribe. I've been Pice Around the House. Ta-ta, farewell.